Hey ladies, we're back and we are talking about chapter 5, which is possibility. Another great chapter. A lot of concepts in here. Let's start off with kind of just what this week is about. This week you are being asked to examine your payoffs in remaining stuck. That's something to think about, huh? You will explore how you curtail your own possibilities by placing limits on the amount of good you can receive. You will examine the cost of settling for appearing good instead of being authentic. Appearing good instead of being authentic. You may find yourself thinking about some radical changes this week. No longer ruling you out your growth by making others the cause of your constriction. Maybe you're not going to think about everyone else and how they impact things. You're just going to think, I need to move ahead for myself. I need to figure out how to do this for myself. I'm not going to let this issue or person or relationship or circumstance prevent me anymore. Big changes are coming, huh? Exciting. All right. So this week in my notes, she talks about limits. And she starts off talking about the scarcity thinking. It's that being afraid that our luck or our blessings are going to run out, or that we're going to overspend our spiritual abundance. That's interesting. Like we're going to overspend on what we receive. It's going to run out. Listening to the Creator puts us on the right path. When we are willing to receive the good from God, we stop being victimized. When we're willing to receive the good, we stop being victimized. Sometimes we'd rather choose that mentality to stay stuck over receiving the good. It's that analogy like I talked about last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, when your hand's being full, you can't receive any more. Okay, then she kind of talks about leaps of faith. We must clear away the inner barriers so we can take our first step. What dreams are you discounting? Or just saying are impossible due to a lack of perceived resources, maybe? How about God will provide, or the Creator will provide? Our job is only to listen how. Do you believe that our Creator is creative beyond just coming up with an art project or creating these beautiful roses or the landscape around us? What about Him being creative with finances, ideas, bringing you other people on the team to help you achieve a dream? There's all kinds of creative help when we are paying attention. Our job is just to listen how. It's not to do it all. It's just to listen how. How do we achieve this plan? Together, Creator, how do we do it? All right, the morning pages. She doesn't shut up about the morning pages. So if you haven't gotten on the bandwagon of doing any morning pages, you might want to try this out before our experience is over together. I have said before that creativity is a spiritual issue. Any progress is made by leaps of faith, some small, some large. At first, we may want faith to take the first dance class, the first step towards learning a new medium. Later, we may want faith and the funds for further classes, seminars, or a larger workspace. Maybe we need money for a year's sabbatical. That's what I'm talking about. That's the dream I have. To not have to go back to work. To not have to sling any pizzas next year with husband. Still dreaming. Not there yet, but come on. Open a door, God. Still later still, we may conceive an idea for a book. Woohoo! An artist collective gallery space. Each idea that comes to us, we must in good faith clear away our inner barriers, clear away those inner barriers to acting on it. And then at an outer level, take concrete steps necessary to trigger the synchronous good. So, okay, this seems impossible, but I really think this sounds amazing. So what do I have to be open to make this work? Maybe it's things that you're saying no to, that you're not realizing could be helpful. Maybe I won't have to sling pizzas if the Creator brings me some resources that I'm ignoring. I don't know. So, gotta pay attention. Let's see. I'm gonna be dreaming with you that I can spend more time on creative outlets and ministry and things like that versus the day job, which we all need to make money, right? But limit that. Bring me the right resources so I can spend more time doing this. All right. If this still sounds airy-fairy to you, ask yourself bluntly what the next step is that you're evading. What dream are you discounting as impossible because you don't have the resources? I would love to hear that during check-in. What payoff are you getting by remaining stuck at this point of your expansion? God is my source is a simple but completely effective plan for living. I'm going to say that again. God is my source is a simple but completely effective plan for living. Do you believe that? Do you want to believe that? The pressure's off by living like that. Why not try it? It removes negative dependency and anxiety from our lives. Who doesn't want that? I want negative dependency and anxiety gone from my life because I'm assured that God's going to provide. Our job is just to listen how. Can we do that? Can we believe that the Creator is going to provide and we just need to pay attention and listen? We're like little kids, sit down. Okay, I know you all want to go on the field trip, but pay attention. We tell you what we need to do and then we can go. Can we do that? Can we live our life on a field trip? I just threw that in there, but it sure sounds good. I'm going with it. The Roses and I, we're going with it. Oh boy. You guys are like, can you be done with this video? One way we listen is by writing our morning pages. At night, before we fall asleep, we can list areas. Here's where she explains it better. One way we listen is by writing our morning pages. At night, before we fall asleep, we can list areas in which we need guidance. In the morning, writing on these same topics, I say it better here, we find ourselves seeing previously unseen avenues of approach. Experiment with this two-step process. Ask for answers in the evening, listen. So ask for the answers in the evening, listen for the answers in the morning. Be open to all the help. I love that. That's what I was trying to say earlier. My notes weren't so great. I read the chapter and wrote those notes instead of just read that first. I think that's great prayer advice in general, don't you? Ask for answers at night. We kind of do that before we go to bed, right? Jot a couple things down. You don't have to do evening pages, but maybe ask and then receive in the morning. I bet you will. All right. Then she talks about the virtue trap. Whoa. Anybody else like, oh my goodness about that? Oh my God. All right. Now let me read some notes here on that. Got a lot of them. The virtue trap is basically a form of self-destruction. And I love that name, the virtue trap, because it's a trap and we think we're like these great people. Okay. Withdrawal is necessary. Without it, if we don't withdraw, the artist feels angry, vexed, and out of sorts. Ever feel frustrated because people won't leave you alone? Do you ever feel that way? I do. It's probably an issue of your own self-care. We are the ones that are making unreasonable demands on ourselves. We expect ourselves to function without giving ourselves what we need, the time to recharge, the time to create, the time to be. Instead, we feel guilty for the self-care or the time alone or not being productive, right? So there's the payoff for being stuck. We have to worry about what will happen to others if we do what we really want to do. Instead, many of us have made a habit out of being deprived. We've embraced a long-suffering artistic anorexia as martyrs. We have used it to have a false sense of superiority. This is where you really got to pay attention. Because you think, oh, well, I'm not hurting anyone else. I don't do anything because I have to take care of all these other people. I'm not bothering anyone else. Everyone else, go ahead. No big deal for me. Okay, wake up because you're about to get hit between the eyes now. You ready? Bam, here it comes. The deer drinking in the brook, like not knowing. Ready? Here we go. We use this frame, this mind game that we're playing with ourselves to have a false sense of superiority over these other people. Do you know that? We're grounded in our own perceived goodness by putting others before ourselves. So instead, afraid of looking selfish, we lose ourselves completely. We just do everything for everyone else. That's becoming self-destructive. We're often blind to that poisonous grip of a passive self-murder. No one else is doing this to you. You're doing it to yourself. It's passive. It's almost not consciously being done. And we're acting it out on ourselves, slowly killing ourselves this way. What does that look like? It looks like sabotage. It might look like addiction. It might look like not taking care of yourself or staying too busy. Virtuous to a fault, these trapped creatives, me and myself included, we destroy our true selves. I'm the one that didn't meet the approval as a child, the child who heard repeatedly, don't be selfish. But the true self needs to be a little selfish to be healthy. And we need a little anarchy just from time to time, as she says in the book. There's some quizzes on page 100. Please tell me you did those, looked at them, or you're willing to do them now. The 3-minute virtue trap, and then on 101 and 102, there's a 5-minute wish list. Good stuff. Really good writing prompts this week too in the tasks. I loved, we had like reasons why God isn't supportive. I thought that was so good. God can take it. I love that. If there's like a concept with the creator where you just don't believe in the goodness, in the good orderly direction, write that down, or some of the barriers. We would love to talk to you about that. God can take it and so can we. I liked starting an image file or a vision board, the 5 imaginary lives. If I were 20 with a load of money, ooh, I like that. Or if I was 65 and had money. 10 ways I am mean to myself. Anybody do that one? I could come up with like 50. It's not funny though. 10 items I would like to own. My favorite creative blocks are, let's just sign up and tell everybody right now. My payoffs for staying blocked, think through that now. What are the blocks and what are the payoffs? And you're like, what? And if you don't know, ask somebody. If you actually could identify some things but you can't get to the root part, ask. We're here to help. The person I blame for staying or being blocked. Ooh, you blaming somebody else, girl? Things to think about. Let's check in.